You know what's embarrassing? I'm going to tell you what's embarrassing, even if you don't want to hear it, because I'm the guy on the camera.
I want my cool wave brakes.
Hello and welcome to Dub Tech Talks. I'm your host Eddie Horton, and today we're going to be talking about Hondas. Yeah, that's right. You Rice guys are going to love this one. We're talking about the 2005 Honda Civic. Now, if you're a person that's worried about mileage, this is the car for you. If you're a college student just getting back from A to B, going to work, going to see your friends, this is the car for you. Here is the coolest thing about this car. If you're a super duper racer guy and you want to go fast and have a car that's just for your pleasure of going out and doing rally racing or running around town with one of them big old mufflers on the back, this car's for you too. Now this car is going to get 33 miles per gallon in the city and 44 on the highway. Only if you're driving it below the speed limit a little bit. You know, you can go a little bit above, but try to stay below because you don't want the law dog to get you. One of the other things about these cars is they have a ton of accessories for these cars. There's accessories for everything your little heart can desire. For all you girls out there, you can get the eyelashes that go across the headlights. For all you guys, you can get the big old exhaust and the nice hoods and the go fast stickers, and you can get ground effects, wheels and tires. They got all kinds of things. It's got cool LED lights, neon kits for under the car, all the great stuff that you'd want. Honda started building the Honda Civic in 1972. In its first year, it was 1973 when it was sold. They began building the Honda Civic in the United States in 1986 in Greensburg, Indiana. So this was a huge leap for them to get into the U.S. market and having them built closer to where they wanted to sell them. I don't think you can get any closer to being actually in Indiana. That's like the heartland of America. So that was a little bit of history on them. They have a long, long history of being a very dependable car and being a car that you can trust.
I want my cool wave brakes.
There's a few problems they have with these cars. All in all, they're pretty reasonably priced problems. They're not anything that's huge numbers. The number one problem they have with this car is the EVAP. They have EVAP problems. This is the evaporative emission system to keep the fumes out of the atmosphere from your gas tank and intake system. The second thing they have problems with is the VVT system, the variable valve timing. The variable valve timing is something it's very effective. It works well. And there's a lot of things the computer does and controls these cams and controls the variable valve timing. They have a little bit of issues with them, but let me tell you what the number one problem is with every one of these issues that they have with the Honda Civic. It's all user related. Lack of maintenance. You will have VVT problems, and here's how to keep from having VVT problems. You can change your oil. Please, change the oil. It's not expensive. Change the oil. Can I say it again? Yeah. Change the oil. That's what I want you to do. No VVT problems. You don't want variable valve timing problems. It's a pain in the butt. Light comes on, car really doesn't drive that bad, but you're not getting the mileage that you used to get. You change your oil, use a good filter. Don't use some cheap stuff you get from wherever you're getting your filters. Get a good filter. If you have to, go and get one from the dealer. And that way, this thing will always function properly. And when you're putting oil in it, this ain't your daddy's Buick. Use the proper oil. A lot of these cars are going to call for 520, 530. Heck, some of the newer ones call for 020. All right? Now, make sure you change your oil. Use a good filter. And do it in the intervals that it says to do it in. And you will not have the second most common problem with the 2005 Honda Civic, which is VVT problems. The third most problem they have with these is air-fuel ratio sensors. Now, some of you say, oh, that's just an O2 sensor. No, it's a little different. It's not a whole lot different in its function, but it is different in the way that the sensor is read by the computer. So when you're looking at these things, don't go in there and say, I need an O2 sensor for my Honda. No, just go in there and say, I need a fuel ratio sensor for my Honda Civic. And when you're buying this fuel ratio sensor, don't buy the one that's $25, okay? Because you're getting something that's $25. You're probably going to spend $100, $200 on this sensor. Get the right one, get a good one, put it back in there, and plug it in. Don't be splicing the wires. Don't be cutting them to put them on your header. Put it in there, put it in the right position, get it hooked up, clear your codes, drive your car, look up your duty drive cycle for O2 sensor and fuel ratio sensor, and drive it to the exact specifications by the manufacturer, and it will turn that light off permanently until you have a problem again with it. One of the things you can keep from having a problem with your O2 sensors and your air fuel ratio sensors is don't be putting tons and tons and tons of fuel additives in there. And I'm talking about sea foams and fuel injector cleaners and boost stuff and this octane booster. Octane booster does not make your car go faster, okay? At the end of the show, we're going to talk a little bit about octane booster and what it really does for you. Because most of the time, you people don't need it in your cars, all right? There's a reason for it. Now, if you want to keep a little octane booster in your car because you get stuck out in the middle of Podunk, Missouri somewhere, and you can only get the worst gas you've ever seen, throw a little in there. It'll keep the car from knocking. But don't use it every day because it's not good for your converter, okay?
I want my cool wave brakes.
All right, now let's talk about the price of your Honda Civic. What you should be paying for this used car in this market in the St. Louis metro area this time, 2019. You're looking at between $2,500 to $6,500 on the very top end. If you're paying more than $5,500, $6,500, you better be getting the little old lady from Pasadena's Civic. Because if you're not, you're getting ripped off. Don't let anybody get in your pocket. You let them get in your pocket once, they'll get into it again. All right? Now, these are some of the things you need to watch for when you're buying that used car. Make sure that the tires are nice and even. They're all the same ones. Make sure you got an owner's manual for this car when you're buying it. If you don't got an owner's manual, you tell the person, I need an owner's manual. You can usually get them offline. They're not going to be expensive. But if you're buying it from a used car lot or a dealer, make sure you get one from them and make sure they get it for you because they're going to be charging you top dollar for that car. All right, for you Rice guys out there that want to go fast in your little Civic, it's a great car for that. They have a lot of wonderful features about them for that very thing. Now, here's what you want to do. You got some cool wheels and tires. You'll see it on the corner down the street from you. It's the 18-year-old guy that's getting ready to go away to college, and he drove it all 4 years in high school. It's so cool. It's painted. It's got all the stuff you want. Listen, when you go up there, take this car to your local shop and have them check it out. Can't stress enough on that. They can turn that engine light off just by taking the battery cables off for 5 seconds and putting them back on. And then you won't even know it too, because sometimes that engine light will come on for 2 to 3 cycles of the key. And then all of a sudden, check engine lights on, and you need a $1,200 converter. That's not good. Another thing, if you're looking at one because it's got everything you want, it's got the body kit, it's got the huge exhaust, it's got the low pro tires and wheels, it's got the ground effects in the front, it's got the LED lights all the way around in this thing, and it's just awesome. Tinted windows, huge stereo, all the bells and whistles that you could ever want on your 2005 Honda Civic. Make sure you go through it well. Make sure the body panels are put on well. Make sure they're not flopping in the wind when you're driving down the street. Make sure that the car stereo wires are not put in the car in a fashion that's going to cause your car to burn down next week because they weren't installed properly and somebody ran a screw through it. You don't want that. Believe me. That's nothing worse than standing on the side of the road and watching your car that you paid money for off of your newspaper route and it's burning to the ground. It's a bad deal. Don't let it happen to you.
I want my cool wave brakes.
All right, tonight's show brought to you by AP Cigar. And you're going to go see Mike Weller over there. He has a top line of cigars that are second to none. If you ain't getting your cigar from Mike, you're doing it wrong. So check out the number at the bottom of the screen and give him a call. Another sponsor tonight, MrTaillight.com. He's in Edison, Ohio. You want to go check him out. You want to see Steve. Tell Steve I sent you. The number's at the bottom of the screen here. Give him a call. He's got all your body parts, light kits, tail lights. And soon to come, he's even going to have some of these awesome cool wave brakes. All right, that's all we got time for tonight at this episode of Dove Tech Talks.